Compass and Clock. I'm your host, Mary Copeland. This infotainment podcast explores how to live your best life now and well into retirement. We'll discuss topics in financial planning, housing, and insurance. We'll talk wellness, relationships, and leisure activities. A full active life requires planning for your goals and preparing for the unexpected. I'll introduce you to a variety of guests, from knowledgeable experts to folks sharing stories of their life experiences and so much more, because life is big. All is intended to help guide you in planning for what you need now and at any age. Like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Today, my guest is Emily Klein. Emily's professional background includes work in community health with foster youth and with people experiencing housing insecurity. Emily brings her work in the independent living program, a deep belief in the importance of housing equity to thriving communities, a passion for inclusive design, and a love for connecting with people from all walks of life. Emily is with the Housing Resources of Bainbridge. And today, she and I are going to talk about the independent living program. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mary. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you work with Housing Resources Bainbridge, and you are going to educate us on the independent living program. So why don't we just jump in and tell us what that program is?
All right, thank you. So for about 20 years, Housing Resource Bainbridge, the independent living program at Housing Resources Bainbridge has helped to facilitate home modifications and repairs for community members who have disabilities, and also for older adults who want to make sure that their home stays safe and accessible as they age in place. The program aims to enhance quality of life for our participants in several ways, including providing accessibility modifications like handrails, grab bars, exterior walkway improvements, and other modifications that enhance safety by mitigating the risk of falls and other injuries. We also provide repairs to safeguard health by eliminating environmental hazards like extreme temperature, mold and mildew, which are pretty common here in the Pacific Northwest, and also rodent infestation that often accompany deferred maintenance on older homes. We also aim to promote autonomy by providing modifications that let participants have greater ease in activities of daily living, like cooking and bathing. And we want to help older adults stay in their homes as they age, promote a living environment that will remain affordable and sustainable over time, and also to foster community inclusion by spreading awareness about good universal design principles and advocating for inclusive design and for people's ability to age in place. And something that's really neat about this program is that while it isn't known as an affordable housing program, it does really contribute to housing affordability, particularly for older adults, in preserving housing stock that already exists and making sure that people can stay in the communities they love, which is often much more economical than relocating or rebuilding.
So that was a whole lot of information. So maybe we could break it down a little. First off, why don't you tell us, how does the program work?
Sure. So when someone is interested in the program, sometimes folks will be referred by friends or family members. They may find out about the program through the local senior center here on Bainbridge Island or through one of our community partners. Sometimes people are referred by a physician or physical therapist's office. They will contact us, and then a program coordinator will visit with them in their home to consider their unique needs and to hear what their goals and priorities are for staying safe and comfortable at home. When it's appropriate and medically advisable, we also work collaboratively with an occupational therapist to make sure that we're meeting the medical recommendations that they may have. Then we hire a licensed and bonded contractor to complete the modifications or repairs. And we see that process from start to finish. We coordinate with the contractor every step of the way to make sure that the project is completed to the client's satisfaction. And finally, we are able to provide grant funding to cover up to around $6,000 of project costs as well.
So is anybody eligible to participate in this program?
That's a great question. This particular program serves residents of Bainbridge Island of all ages who make up to 80% of area median income. And that translates to about $50,000 a year of income for a single person household. And that limit, of course, goes up if there's more than one person living in the household. And our services are available to both homeowners and to renters who get permission from their landlords to complete modifications.
So number one, for the listeners, Bainbridge Island is in the state of Washington. It is across from Seattle, Washington. And you said that for a single household, so if it was my father living by himself on Bainbridge, his income could not exceed $50,000 to participate. What if it was a husband and wife? Then what is that income threshold?
So the income limits are determined by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and they can be found by searching on the internet for HUD area median income limits. So it goes up. I'm not sure what all the income limits are for each household situation, but it is pretty easy to find if you just Google HUD area median income, and that will tell you the eligibility in terms of the percentage of area median income compared to how many people are in the household.
Okay. So everything you described sounds awesome, and it's a great way for folks to age in place, especially those that are seniors. But are there, we're talking about a program right here on Bainbridge Island. Are there programs like this in other communities in Washington or in other states?
That's a great question, Mary, and there are. There are many home repair programs in communities around the nation and around the world. They are operated by local government, by private nonprofits, and by partnerships between the public and private sectors. In our region here in the Pacific Northwest, specifically Kitsap County, we have Housing Kitsap, which offers a home repair loan program. Puget Sound Energy, in collaboration with Kitsap Community Resources, offers a weatherization program that can help people make the kinds of repairs that will make their home sustainable. There's a volunteer group of retired Boeing employees called the Bluebills. And through Catholic Community Services, they coordinate with community members who need accessibility modifications like grab bars and ramps to stay safely in their homes. And they are an all-volunteer group. Other private nonprofits like Habitat for Humanity and also a group called Rebuilding Together offer home repairs and modifications nationwide to people in financial need. And there are many of these resources listed on the Housing and Urban Development website. So you can find programs in Washington State on HUD's Washington website and at www.hud.gov. You can find many of these programs listed nationwide.
Great. And I've definitely heard of the Bluebells before, and I know they also service up in Klein County and Jefferson County. So yeah, unless people know that these organizations exist, that's why we're doing the podcast, right? Let's get that information out there so people know that there are options so that they can thrive in place. Because if you're in your 70s and you've lived in the same community for the last 40 years, one of the reasons that you thrive is because of your social life and the connection with other people. So if we can get people to stay in place, that would be great. You were talking about how this program helps older adults, but do you want to go into more detail there?
Absolutely. So interestingly, both the AARP and the World Health Organization recommend home repair programs as a key component of helping people to age in place with safety and autonomy. So home repair and modification programs, I should say. Many older adults, as you mentioned, would like to stay in their homes as they age. The communities that they love, the neighbors who they've gotten to know, the places that they've invested in, and where they have friends, family, social life, and the sense of rootedness and familiarity is so important to all of us. And people really want to be able to maintain that continuity, many people, as they grow older and through every stage of life. So having home repair and accessibility modifications available can help to accommodate changing needs, because everybody's needs change throughout their life cycle. Nobody's needs are ever static or fixed. So someone, a single working professional or a student or a family with young children, a family with high schoolers, somebody in retirement and beyond, at each stage of life, your needs are going to change. And having the ability to modify your environment to accommodate those changing needs is really, really helpful, not only for preserving, individual health and happiness and autonomy, but also for helping communities to thrive so that people can maintain those rich webs of intergenerational connection that make communities wonderful places to be, and so that all generations can benefit from the skills and the wisdom and the life experience that people from different generations bring to one another. And in addition to physical safety, a home environment that really facilitates independence and autonomy can increase people's confidence and encourage participation in the wider community. So our goal is, of course, to help people stay safe and comfortable in their own homes. But what that means too is if people can attend to activities of daily living and they feel safe moving around in their homes, that translates to greater confidence and greater ability to get out in the community and keep doing what they love and nurturing those social connections. I mentioned affordability, and for seniors living on a fixed income, making sure that the home where they already live is sustainable is much more affordable than relocating, especially given the unfortunate lack of affordable housing options in many communities. So if people already have a home that they love and where they're comfortable, it just makes a lot more sense to stay put if people prefer that option. And repairs can also lower energy bills dramatically if you are taking care of all of that weatherization and making sure that your home is that you don't have a lot of deferred maintenance. Making those energy upgrades can really, really help to lower costs.
Well, I know Puget Sound Energy does send letters. Like I get one and it'll say, oh, here's your average usage, and it'll show if I was above my neighbors or below my neighbors. And when I'm below it, they're like, good job. And they do offer incentives and ways in which to cut down your energy bill. And when you were talking about, staying in your home, I love to call it thriving in place as opposed to aging in place, because if you've lived here for years, you already have a network of friends. You have a network, a routine of, where you go shopping, where things are in the store, how to get there. You're involved in your community, retired. If you're retired, you're following your passion. Maybe you like to be an artist, or you're writing a book, or you volunteer. All of those things give you a purpose. They give you a sense of gratification. You wake up in the morning and you're looking forward to performing an act of kindness for another person, and it helps you retain your independence longer and the lifestyle that you love. So I think your program really supports folks at all levels, from income to physicality, helping prevent falls because the house is modified to help us as we do get older.
Absolutely. I really appreciate the opportunity to share about this program with your listeners. And I would like to reiterate that thriving communities, I love that term you use, thriving in place, and I may have to steal that because it's a really good one. This programs like this that enable people to stay in their homes can really help individuals and families to thrive, but they really do help whole communities to thrive. We talk a lot about diversity, in the affordable housing world. We talk about the importance of diversity in communities. And something that I really like to emphasize is that generational diversity is so important, that a community that is only made up of single working professionals or only made up of families with young children, there's really a lost opportunity for the richness and vibrancy that comes from a variety of backgrounds and life experiences, and the wisdom that comes from being rooted in a place and having so much experience and so much investment in a community. So we really want to help individuals to thrive in place and help whole communities to thrive through these programs.
Well, a melting pot of intergenerational folks sounds like the perfect recipe.
Mhm.
And I was also thinking that if you have been living in your home, in your community, I'll use the number 30 years. If unfortunately one of the spouses has a health issue, let's say it's dementia,
Mhm.
the last thing you want to do, if you don't have to, is move the person. You want to
Absolutely.
keep them in their familiar surroundings as long as possible. And if the spouse is able to be the caregiver for a while on their own, and they can continue to stay at home, then that would be beneficial for both, because you also need your social network, not just for the person with the dementia, but also for the caregiver, because they need the help of their friends and family. They need that respite for somebody maybe to come in and give them Wednesday afternoon off so they can literally honestly go play golf maybe. They need that for keeping themselves healthy. So the longer people can thrive in place, I think it's a win-win. That's my opinion, and I believe it's yours too, based on everything you just told us.
Absolutely. We're all about helping people have those options. If people want to stay in their homes, they should be able to without finances or changing abilities being an impediment. And we really try to support that.
Well, the program that you just told us about is phenomenal. And it, like you said, it gives them options out there and they can start looking. And what I would suggest is that you give us the website address and any other information so that we can share it with our listeners.
Sure. So you can find nationwide programs through the Housing and Urban Development portal on hud.gov. And if you navigate through that website, you will find a list of home repair and modification programs nationwide. And then the address of the independent living program at Housing Resources Bainbridge is at housingresourcesbi.org/programs with an S/independent-living.
Thank you. And I'll put that information on the Compass and Clock website also, so people can access it there. So,
Fantastic.
Emily, are there any parting words you'd like to share with our listeners today?
I'm just so delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you and share this program with your listeners. And happy spring, everyone. I'm excited about springtime.
Well, it's appropriate that you're outside for this recording today because spring has sprung, and I can't wait to get outside in some sunshine myself. So you have a great day, and thank you, listeners. Okay, take care. Bye-bye, Emily.
Bye.